Good evening, Rambler fans, and welcome to another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Grace Runkel.
And I'm Bridget Murphy.
Hey, Bridget, I got a Throwback Thursday for you.
Oh, and what could that be?
Well, I'm not sure if you remember, but this isn't the first time we've anchored together.
Very true. Of the Rambler Sports Locker. My name is Bridget Murphy.
And I'm Grace Runkel. Here at the Locker, we've all caught the hockey bug, so please excuse any strange behavior from any of our staff members.
Hockey! I'm sorry. It's that darn hockey bug. It is so infectious.
This was much more funny when we weren't in flu season.
Yeah, and I haven't even had my flu shot.
Well, good thing I have, I guess. Loyola has officially announced a new athletic director. Steve Watson of St. Bonaventure University will now be the head of Rambler Athletics. Since 2007, Watson served as the director of intercollegiate athletics at St. Bonaventure. While there, the Bonnies reached their best ever academic progress rate, and head basketball coach Mark Schmidt was hired. Under Schmidt's coaching, the program won the Atlantic 10 for the first time and earned a NCAA tournament berth. About the hiring, University President Father Michael Garanzini said, quote, "He impressed us with his ability to build and sustain a successful intercollegiate athletic program, especially in basketball. We look to him to lead our university efforts to engage and energize the campus and the community in our Ramblers' success." Watson will be replacing interim athletic director Susan Malish, who accepted the position in May after Grace Calhoun left in March.
The Ramblers men's soccer team hosted the Southern Illinois Salukis last Saturday for their final home game of the season. The Salukis moved the ball early in the match but could not get past Tim Dorowolski. The Ramblers took a 1-0 lead in the 33rd minute thanks to a Brian Beament goal. Both teams played a physical match throughout the second half. The Salukis fought hard, but the Ramblers controlled the clock and survived a late-game scare to pull off the victory. Finishing the game, the Ramblers all came together and sang their last alma mater for the regular season, a great way to end the men's soccer team's year and to start the playoffs. In their first game, the Ramblers beat Drake handedly by a score of 3-1. They look to continue this success against Missouri State on Friday.
This Week in History marks the first game for one of basketball's greatest legends. Molly Brewer is here to tell us about how Shaquille O'Neal began his career 22 years ago.
It was this week in 1992 that Shaquille O'Neal made his debut in the NBA. O'Neal began playing for the Orlando Magic in a game against the Miami Heat and won 110-100. Tallying 12 points, O'Neal, better known as Shaq, also played 18 rebounds and had 3 blocks in the historic game. Quickly rising to NBA fame, Shaq was named Rookie of the Year for 1992 and 1993 and later led his team to the 1995 NBA Finals. Shaq last played for the Boston Celtics before retiring from his basketball career in 2011. That career also included playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, the Miami Heat, the Phoenix Suns, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. For Rambler Sports Locker's This Week in History, I'm Molly Brewer.
Thanks, Molly. It's also important to note that since that big day 22 years ago, the legend himself has also released 4 rap albums and several movies.
Speaking of great players in basketball history, Loyola has arguably one of the best players in women's history leading its basketball program. Allison Krakowiak has more.
This year marks Coach Sheryl Swoopes' second season as head coach of Loyola's women's basketball team. Swoopes is an American basketball star and 3-time Olympic gold medalist. Her transition from professional athlete to coach began last season when Swoopes made her coaching debut for the Ramblers. In Swoopes' first season, the Ramblers held an 11-21 overall record. The players are excited to have her on their side.
She's a legend in the game of women's basketball. I grew up, looking up to her, and now being able to play for her is, obviously really cool.
Her positive influence on the players gives the program high hopes for the team's future.
She's used to winning, and she's been on great teams all through the past, so this is the next team.
Coach Swoopes plans to bring Loyola's women's basketball program to heights that it has never reached before, and the team is confident that with her expertise they will be able to reach these goals.
I think anytime you are a successful athlete, and you move on to doing something different, such as coaching. I think outside looking in, people may say, well, she was a great athlete, so what is she going to do as a coach? I don't put those pressures on myself because being a coach is a completely different type of an animal.
Swoopes chose Loyola's basketball program to debut her coaching career for a number of reasons. For one, it is a program that has the ability to be rebuilt.
I really felt like Loyola was a place that it was an opportunity for me to come and build something, start a tradition, change the culture. And for me, there was really no pressure in coming in and having to win right away. Not having any head coaching experience, I felt like this was a wonderful place for me to be, a wonderful opportunity for me to get some experience.
See the Swoopes troops in action when the team takes on Georgia Tech tomorrow night at 5 o'clock in Gentile Arena. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Allison Krakowiak.
The Ramblers sure are lucky to have Coach Swoopes on their side.
Lucky they are. Maybe Swoopes can help them make some hoops this year. The men's basketball team will play their home opener this Friday against Rockhurst University. Junior Devon Turk took a timeout with Madeline Kenney to talk about the upcoming season.
I'm joined today with Loyola's men's basketball guard, Devon Turk. Turk, thanks for being with us here today.
Yeah, no problem.
So I would like to consider us some friends. We're good friends, right?
Really good friends.
Really good friends. But there's a lot I don't know about you. So when did you and why did you start playing basketball?
I started playing when I was around like 4 years old. And, my sister and my older brother played, so they kind of started me playing basketball. So I fell in love with it when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
And then you're from Texas, right? Mm-hmm. So why did you go from a climate that is warm year-round to a place that's negative 30 in the winter and cold? And why did you come to Loyola?
It was the coaching staff, basically. I know the coaches left my freshman year after, but Coach Mojo, I trusted him a lot, so I decided to stay here. And he was the main reason why I came.
The season's right about to start rolling. You have your home opener this Friday against Rockhurst University. How has the team prepared for the season thus far?
You know, we did a lot of conditioning before the season started with boot camp and all that type of stuff. And we're trying to focus on, as a team, like coming together and like being more team-oriented with everything outside of basketball as well. So that type of stuff helps us.
And then during preseason, you had a few injuries. There was Milton Doyle tore his labrum. What are some challenges you see throughout this season that you might face, and how will you overcome these adversities?
You know, when someone's out, like someone else has to step up, like a freshman or someone. They have to just come in and like be ready and be focused on what their job is, and be ready like to step in for someone when they get hurt, and that'll help a lot.
Which freshmen do you see stepping in?
All of them. They're all pretty good. They all like know their roles. They all focus. They love basketball, and they're good at what they do.
What are some team goals for this season?
Team goals. We have a lot of team goals, but one I'll say is win our first game, win our first BCS game, which is Michigan State, and when we get to the tournament, focus on when we're up, like keeping those leads and everything, and second half, just playing our best ability.
And then what are some personal goals you have?
Personal goals. I know one of my goals is I want to shoot 90% from the free throw line, 50% from the field, and 40% from three.
Very precise.
Yeah.
How does the Devon Turk prepare for game day?
I always have to get a nap before the game, like hour to hour and a half, and also I try to get in, be the first one in here to get shots up, and it helps me prepare for games.
And then since you're a shooter, what is your 3-point celebration?
If I make it, I just like go like this and just run down the court like this.
Okay. Thank you, Turk, for being with us tonight.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And back to you guys at the desk.
The Ramblers will face off against the Rockhurst Hawks tomorrow night at 7:30 in Gentile Arena.
Last Saturday, November 8th, Loyola's women's volleyball team was swept by conference rivals Indiana State University 3-0, with scores of 25-20, 25-18, and 25-20. Morgan Reardon led the team offensively with a match-high 13 kills. With the loss, the team drops to 7-17 on the season and 3-12 in the conference. This loss also marks the Ramblers' 6th loss in a row. In fact, in those six matches, the team has only won one set total. Loyola has 4 games left this season, 3 of which are conference games. Currently, they are ranked 10th out of 12 teams. They are sitting above Drake University, who is 2-12 in the conference, and Bradley University, who is 1-14. Drake and Bradley are the only remaining home matches on the Ramblers' schedule. The Ramblers are next scheduled to face University of Illinois Chicago on Friday, November 14th, in a non-conference crosstown matchup at UIC. The game begins at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, the Ramblers have been eliminated from the MVC tournament contention for the 2nd straight season. Chicago's Jose Abreu unanimously won the American League's Rookie of the Year award this past week. While that pick was a no-brainer, some awards are head-scratchers. Stay tuned for the Weekly Ramble, where they will discuss some Gold Glove awards that are looking a little brass.
Hey y'all, and welcome to this week's Weekly Ramble. I'm your host, Milat Mehta, and I'm wearing glasses for the first time on the Ramble. I'm joined by, our reigning champion, Alfredo Rodríguez, and the challenger, Joaquin Carrig. Joaquin doesn't get any bonus points for shaking hands. So, we are going to be talking some more baseball this week, and the Cubs, once again, were left out of awards because they didn't win anything. But some other guys did that probably shouldn't have also. So, which Gold Glove candidate was actually the least deserving to get their award? Alfredo, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, I think the Gold Glove awards were not as satisfying as in past years, but I think the least deserving was J.J. Hardy, and because I think that they gave it to him because of his name recognition and because it was his 3rd time. It's his 3rd time winning it, so it's mainly because of name recognition. Yeah.
All right, very fair. Joaquin, what do you got to say?
Well, I'm also going to stick with the Orioles, and don't get me wrong, I love Adam Jones. Adam Jones, great outfielder, and he's great for Baltimore. They've had a lot of success there, but he shouldn't win the Golden Glove this year. I mean, I'm sorry, not for center field. There were two players that were better off than he was. Leonys Martin of the Texas Rangers and Jackie Bradley. Both of these players had significantly higher wins above replacement stats, and they also had significantly more outfield assists. Bradley with 13 and Leonys Martin with 11. Also, Martin had 415 putouts in the outfield. That was way more than anybody else, and that alone should be a significant enough stat to get him the Gold Glove.
All right, awesome stats. Joaquin, do you know how to calculate defensive WAR? Oh, wow. Okay. Actually, we're going to go to the first question with you, Alfredo. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously Hardy, you're claiming he had a down year. But in terms of advanced metrics, he was actually the top-rated defensive shortstop in the American League. So what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, but I think that instead of Hardy, Alexei Ramirez should have won the award because he had better stats. He had more runs, 82 against 58 of Hardy. He had 170 hits against 142 of Hardy, and 2 triples against none of Hardy. And he also had the most outs per inning, and he led the double plays with 119. So I think that he was not only a little bit better, but way better than Hardy.
All right, very fair. And Joaquin, while you have mentioned 2 other very valuable members, Martin also did lead all center fielders in the American League in errors, and Bradley made considerably fewer outs. So aren't we just kind of picking nits there by saying that Jones shouldn't when they all have their own strengths?
True, Martin did lead the league in errors with 8, but Jones was not that far behind with 6, and Martin had way more opportunities in the outfield to make good plays. And I really think another important stat that Martin displays is his range. He led the league in being able to get 2 balls in the outfield, and so I think that's also another important fact that you have to take into account.
All right, really awesome points from both of you. I'm going to give each of you a chance to rebut each other's arguments. Alfredo, begin.
Yeah, I think that Hardy was actually the least deserving because it's even though he made it with his team to the American League, it's already he's a player that it's in decay and it's not at his top of his career while other players are at the top of their careers.
I mean, your main argument for J.J. Hardy was name recognition, although he was probably the second best. If you're saying Alexi is the first, he was probably the second best player in the league. Adam Jones was very much off of name recognition. I mean, he wasn't even close to the top in a lot of the defensive categories that you have to take into account when awarding a Gold Glove. So I really think that between Alexi and J.J. Hardy, it's a lot closer than Adam Jones and, say, Leonis Martin or Jackie Bradley.
Wow, both of these guys definitely did their research this week. It's a tough pick. While I agree that they both had awesome choices, I'm going to give it to Joaquin here. I thought Adam Jones was definitely the worst selection, not just the American League, but in all of baseball when they were picking out these awards. And so with that, got to give it to him. And back to y'all at the desk.
Well, that certainly was a Hardy pick.
Sounds like this Golden Glove race is for the birds, or for one bird in particular, who terrorized a football fan in this week's viral video.
Bridget, it's safe to come back up now. The video is gone. The bird's gone. You're safe.
Grace.
No, come on.
Grace, I can't. I am really, really scared of birds. Make sure you visit our website at ramblersportslocker.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram using the handles you see listed below. Terrified, and for the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Bridget Murphy.
And I'm Grace Runkel. Thanks for stopping by the locker, and don't forget to turn out the lights. Hey, Bridget.